So in our shul, there's a beloved old man whose name is Rabbi Ram. He's also fondly known as the Candyman. And my husband approached this Rabbi Ram one Shabbos, and he told him about our idea. And he really liked the idea. He just thought it would be really nice to meet with a young professional and, connect with them. So he introduced us to a bunch of his friends who also liked the idea. So we started a pilot program with 10 volunteers, visiting survivors, and word got out. Now there's many people that have, just through word of mouth, been asking to volunteer. There's just been a really great response. I think the reason this idea hasn't met so positively is because it's run by young professionals for young professionals, and it's creating a community of volunteers where they can share their experiences and support one another.
We lived in a place called Wierzchnik. Now it is called Starachowice. It's a relatively small town in Poland, in the province of Kielce. I would suppose that most of you who heard the name of Kielce would relate it to the massacre of Jews who returned after surviving the camps after the war, and they were killed after the war, like pogrom after the war. And we are part of this province in Poland. It's situated about 100 miles south of Warsaw, between Warsaw and Krakow. The population of our town was approximately 20,000, and the Jewish community numbered approximately 3,000 people. In Poland, people ask me, were you religious? I says, what do you mean, were we religious? There was no such thing as not being observant in the daily lives on the holidays. Everybody was observant. Every Jew knew his place, and we lived amicably amongst the Christian population. The Christian population were Catholics, because Poland is predominantly a Catholic country. The relationship between the Jews and the Poles or the Catholics, there's still in my mind, I cannot figure out why you call yourself Canadians and who are the others. We were Jews and they were Poles. In my mind of thinking, we were Poles too, but they would not recognize that. In Poland, the Jew is not a Pole, but a Jew. And we lived amicably with our neighbors, as long as there were no outside interferences. And the personality of the priest was such that it didn't preach hatred. Everything was fine. There was one church in town, one synagogue, and a few stiebler. There were small houses of worship. Different people had their own rabbi or followers for certain rabbis. And this is how life was. We went to school in the morning, at my age, and in the afternoon we went to cheder. I was a good student. I come from a family of 4 children. The oldest was a sister, and with 3 brothers, I was the middle one. My younger brother Shmuel, he was outstanding. Not only in our family, but he was outstanding student in the school. And God only knows what, if he wouldn't be murdered, what kind of a person he would have turned out. In my family, education was highly stressed, and I would not dare nor any of my siblings come home with a poor report card. My father was a warden during the war, and he used to tell us the story when the German army came in to our town, or before they came in, they stopped in a village outside of town called Venetia, or Venice. And they sent a motorcycle, a forward spy to go to see what is going on in town. And when he came near the post office, my father relates that 2 Poles took out their guns and challenged these Germans, and they arrested them. They didn't kill them. And since the two Germans didn't come back to this village called Banatia, the Germans burned down the village with the people and the livestock in it. And from this you got a taste what you can expect out of the Germans. My mother, sometimes after Shabbos, we used to come home, we had our meal, the young people used to go out for walks, or sometimes we snuck away to play football or to go swimming. The women used to sit outside, and I was a curious boy, and I listened to the stories that they retold what was going on in the First World War. How the Germans were nice and the Russians were not. So these people who had good memories of the Germans were quite surprised of how they came in. And the market square was full of German cars and trucks and guns. And I used to go amongst them. I used to take out eggs to them. They used to give me cigarettes. We used to take out cigarettes. They used to give us butter. They're nice people. But these soldiers disappeared after a while, and different soldiers used to come in. They occupied the school and couldn't go to school. That was fine. But after they evacuated the school, Jewish kids were not allowed to go to school anymore. The Christian kids, the Catholics, went to school, but we didn't. It was okay for me. Didn't have to go to school. But it didn't last long. Most of my friends were not Jews. I was a bit rambunctious. I used to run around with them because they had more leeway. Jewish kids were restricted, what they would do, they wouldn't do. My brother was like this, but I not. I liked to run around with the schools, the Gentile boys. We used to go and raid the orchards in the summertime. Even the priest's orchard, we used to go and raid it until one day they took a gun, a shotgun, and they shot salt with it. And you didn't go back there anymore. But this was life. We didn't know life any different than this. Not going to school, my father was afraid that I'm going to get myself into trouble. So he bought a goat for a pet, so I had to take care of the goat. From the goat we got milk. And since after we got the goat, the Jewish people were ghettoized. The Jews, we lived in one area mostly, around the market square, but we lived all over the place. So they're restricted to where Jews could and could not live. So there was an exchange of residences. A Jew would give up 3 or 4 rooms for 1 room from a goy. So you could have where to live. And we were ghettoized, we were restricted to a few streets, and we were made to wear armbands, with white armbands with a blue Star of David. And when I used to go out with my friends, I used to take this off. And if they caught you outside of the perimeter of the ghetto, they shot you. My father didn't know I was doing that.